Now let's say I asked a trade-off question. So you went through all that and I said, let's say you're the PM for Instagram overall. You're deciding whether you want to put Reels at the top of the Instagram app instead of Stories. Is it better to have Reels at the top or is it better to have Stories? Okay. So this is a real question that one of the people I work with got asked. And the fundamental trade-off here is what goes at the top. There's prime placement. There's only one thing that's going to go at the top of the Instagram app. Which one is it? Okay. Not that complicated. When you think about the common goal, you can think both Reels and Stories contribute to Instagram's mission of connecting people through visual sharing, but they do it in different ways. Stories enable authentic ephemeral sharing between friends and followers. Reels focuses on entertainment and discovery of content from a broader creator ecosystem. Okay. So if we look at Reels at the top or Stories at the top and we look at the pros and cons of each, you could say Reels could, if we put Reels at the top, maybe that accelerates the growth of our TikTok competitor. Maybe it gets higher engagement per session due to the video format. Maybe it gets more monetization potential because it's going to have more immersive video ads, something like that. The cons is that it could reduce authentic sharing between close connections. It could shift Instagram's identity further away from social. And it could risk reducing stories engagement, which is already a format and a feature that people are very heavily invested in. If you think about a world where stories is at the top, so this is the status quo, it maintains Instagram's core social value prop. It preserves a familiar user experience, projects engagement on a format with high user adoption, and then the cons are slower growth for Reels, maybe less aggressive competition with TikTok, and lower potential for more entertainment-driven engagement in the product. So the fundamental trade-off here is between strengthening the social connections versus pushing towards more entertainment and discovery. And if you think about which direction to go with, if you consider the current maturity and mission of Instagram, I would say keeping stories at the top makes more sense. Even though Reels is strategically important, stories represents a core differentiator of authentic sharing between people. Moving stories could signal that Instagram's deprioritizing social connections, etc. Um, and then this is the kicker. I always say it's important to include a what would need to be true for me to change my opinion thing when you share your rationale. So if we see stories engagement plateau while Reels continues to grow rapidly, or if user preferences shift more dramatically towards entertainment, I would revisit this decision. Okay, so I'm leaving the door open to changing my mind. All right, I told you we would all go through that really quickly. Um, Hopefully you can watch the recording if you want to. I know it's supposed to be a 45-minute session. I'm gonna plan to go until the hour mark, and if you have to drop, I totally understand. But I think we should be able to get through everything. So to summarize, review product rationale, describe ecosystem players and set health metrics, define North Star metric, critique it, define guardrails, and set a goal to focus on, and then evaluate a trade-off. Okay, and you want to be thinking before each of these things, and you want to share back with the interviewer and check in with them to make sure if it makes sense.